Evening, everybody. V-Sport community, ATS-V community, V-Series community in whole. I am here with two amazing people that have been working in this community for a very long time. Both of you guys actually have been in the receding lights for a while now, and now you guys are coming to the forefront, which is fantastic. This is Matt Harber, the founder of RP, and we have Horacio Sixto here, who is, I'll give a brief introduction by saying this is the man, the myth, the legend behind the RP downpipe. And we're going to take a little dive into just talking about it. We're also going to talk a little bit about intakes today. And those are going to be our two main focuses because there's a lot of new things going on in the community lately, and everything from silicone turbo inlets coming out, which is a huge thing. We're going to talk about Eric Miller maybe for a minute here because this all ties together, right? The better airflow we get coming in, going out, it's all about the air system. So with that, hello, this is Matt, again, the founder of RP. Give a shout out, Matt, and Horacio. Say hi to the people, and welcome to The Real with Jaeden Devlin and our family.
Hey guys, how's it going? Good to see you. Thanks, Jaeden, for having us on.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Jaeden. We appreciate being on here.
Yes, sir. So, Horacio, let's first get into it, man. Downpipes. So, take the people through the evolution, I guess, from when you stepped onto the scene, created the downpipe, where it came from, and how it transitioned to where we're at currently. We don't have to give away everything about the new prototype design. Prototype design? What is that? What does that mean? So we're going to get a little bit into that whole new downpipe system from RP coming. That's going to change everything. And but with that, let's listen to Horacio, take a peek into his world, his mind, and just so when I mean the man, the myth, this is the hand. I know every time you grab a downpipe and you look at those welds and you look at the quality of that downpipe, that's a real made in America downpipe right here by this man and his team. So again, thank you, Horacio. Please take me to your world, please.
Yeah, thank you. So primarily, I have always been a Cadillac ATS enthusiast, right? I've always been a fan, but one thing that drew me back that I didn't like was the sound. You know, I'm not gonna go spend this money on a Cadillac to have it sound like a Honda, right? I'm not taking a step back. So that's when, little by little, we started making suggestions. So what if we add those resonators, right? Get rid of some of that drone, change that sound. So that's why the resonator did an amazing job, and then the packing in it it's very unique to withstand high temperature. So that was another thing that we wanted to make sure: the reliability, how much heat is it gonna take. We got guys that potentially are gonna be shooting meth, on the car, So that's why I want to make sure that it withstands all that heat.
I figured sound deadening, but actual heat resistance in the packing as well.
Yeah, so it has a first layer, and we probably shouldn't divulge this, right? But it has a first layer, which is a protective shield for the fiberglass. It's not just straight fiberglass.
Gotcha.
Otherwise fiberglass would immediately with heat, you put a torch to it, it's somewhat resistant, but eventually still blows out.
Gotcha.
And that's why you see some YouTube videos. If you look at mufflers falling apart, you see all the fiberglass falling right out.
Yeah.
So you look it up, and So, and that's why part of the competition or other people, they choose not to pack it because they either don't know about it or it's just looking to cut down costs any way they can.
Right.
That's primarily it. They're not doing it. Most people aren't doing this for quality. They're doing it for profit. And I think where we're at, we love the cars. I'm personal owner. You're an owner. Matt's an owner, right? We love the cars. If it's junk, we're not gonna produce it, right? If I want to put this on my car, it's not going out on the road.
Yeah.
then it became, oh, what can we improve on as far as what our capabilities are, which is the exhaust downpipe section. What can we improve? And so that's when we brought in the beautiful finish. I would love to receive them with the finish. I would love to receive them a certain way. I would love to have them cleaned inside and out. And so that is the main focus on the quality. What you receive is something that I would put on my
Quality bar none.
It's like I said, I don't want to buy a Cadillac to throw on junky parts. It's not it's not what I'm doing. It's not what I would do. And if you're doing it, go buy a Evo, go buy the Evo. But I've seen those guys go hard. They don't give a shit about what it looks like. Well, and then it's like, hey, it's going.
So everyone watching right now, you guys have that own a set of RP downpipes. You know the quality of work. It is bar none to any downpipes that you've ever seen in your life from any car model. Doesn't matter. They are absolute exquisite pieces of work. Justin Schmidt himself, I'll never forget when he received his 2023 RP downpipe. The very first thing, I can't remember if he texted or called me, but he just said, "These are pieces of art." And he said the saddest thing about these downpipes is that they go underneath the car and nobody can see them. That's the worst thing about the downpipes, and Justice, that's it. So talk about the precision, pristine, perfect TIG welding that you and your guys do. It's absolutely phenomenal. It's exquisite. You can't say enough about it. It's literally, it's like, it's just, oh my God, man. Please take us down the road of the journey of how you progress to get where you're at. I mean, you're literally the Shaolin Grandmaster. Please talk about it.
You're always learning and improving, right? And there's a certain style that you want to see. And even though, like you said, Justin Smith said that the saddest parts I think under the car, that's true. But when I receive a product, I want it to look a certain way. I don't care where it goes, And again, same thing with us. If I send something out, when you receive it, I want you to look at it and say, "This is beautiful. This is really nice." And so that's the satisfaction that we get. Yeah, we're technically underpaid, Matt. And so,
Sir, please stop. Is somebody gonna pay me?
but that makes up for it in satisfaction for building the product. Again, it's really rewarding. Yes, you get paid to do it, but at the same time, when you build something really amazing, it comes together and it fits perfectly as you want it. That you can make $0 but leave here happy, and that's what it is. You don't, like they say, you don't work if you love what you do. And so we technically don't work. We get to do cool stuff and assemble it, and having the fitment, the finish, again, amazing. My guys know what is expected from them. What I expect, what I like to produce, So we've had wasted pieces. Like, hey, this is junk. I'm not sending it. So that's what we stand up with. And so that's what my guys have to understand. They have to follow direction. And again, it's because not just, oh, it's going to go under the car, MIG welded, just junk welded, that's it, out the door. No, hey, what can be done better? What can we do better? And yes, it is a longer process, right? It takes us longer. If we're not just throwing it in there, and if you have huge gaps, don't worry, because those huge thick MIG welds will fill it up. No, this fitment has to be just right, And so that is the key, that it takes time to build these, much longer than it is just to peanut butter weld them up and be like, done, out the door. That's it.
What you see with every other downpipe out there. That's it.
Yeah, and so that's what we're trying to be different. Like I said, when I receive something, I want to see it nice, inside and out, And so that's just putting myself in the shoes of the recipient. That's what I do.
So that door right there, I'm imagining you open that door and there's a dungeon back there with dominatrix, and they're whipping all your guys in shape.
The shape, you son, you SOB, But we buy them lunch, so that makes up for
it. We get them a $6 taco truck.
Tacos with 3 tortillas.
We're giving you the thickens, baby. 3 tortillas, no carne asada, baby.
No, baby, string of carne asada. You can't feed them too much; they get cocky.
What you doing, man? What you doing, man? What I
Hilarious. So with the downpipes, I'm curious, the very first set that you made and your very next revision. Do you remember that? What was the first step after your first successful set with RP? People were purchasing them, and then you said, here's the next revision step.
We have all been doing a lot of work. So as far as revisions, Edison failed, what is it, 1,000 times at the light bulb before he got it right. But he wanted to
Right.
produce something that worked,
Right.
right? So we have actually gone through quite a few revisions, and we have, I'll be honest, we have come out with stuff that fails. And if it's not just about putting out just put it out, sell it, that's it, right? We're trying to improve them all. We're trying to better it. So
Yes.
we have duds. We're not selling them. We have duds that it was like, hey, we tried this, we tried that, we changed this, we changed that, and you know what? It just hasn't improved. And if it's not improving, we're not making it. So as far as the first revision, one of the very first things I think what started us making these changes was it's honest, the O2 sensor placements were all over the place, you know. So that was our first priority. That's when that's one of those things where it's like, hey, let's get working on this. And so now we developed a system that has them exact. No longer will one guy's O2 sensors fit better than the other guys. And so now we have a system where everything bolts up perfectly, right?
I mean, you can tell clearly going with the ATS-Vs that I've done on. There was one set that I did where it was a little hard to get the O2 sensor in. I was literally like, I wanted to punch through the car. I was like, this thing is not work. And then the latest batch 2023, the latest revision for this one, I didn't even unplug anything from the top end. I literally just reached up there on the lift, untwisted it from the stock downpipe, and let him hang there, put him back, and I was able just to slide him right back in. And I was like, okay, this is great. So
yeah, because before the angle on it was such a weird angle that you had to completely
right,
unhook them and bring them down and put them inside, and then pray to God that it'll go in right.
right, yeah,
Yeah, because
successful.
we actually confirmed every single one. You know, when the first ones we did, like, hey, let's do them. We did them. We put them on the car. Beautiful. That's exactly what we want. You know, because again, we have the car. We're fans. We love the car. So if we have it, why aren't we confirming?
That's what real community does. That's somebody who really enjoys. There's been a consistency here with the people that work for RP. There's been a consistency with those that love the platform. A lot of amazing points. Let's talk about the on the latest revision batch, changing the H bar, right? Let's get into how that H bar got pulled away from the transmission lines a little bit, and what first initiated you into doing that? Why wasn't it done originally? I got to ask. What's the mindset there?
Yeah, so the original design was kept like that, and nobody bothered to change it. So you'll see some H pipes fit better than others. So
Right.
what we did was we set up everything to where it has to fit exactly. If it doesn't fit here, it's a no-go, right? I don't care if we've done a lot of work and done a lot of material. If I myself had that personal issue where I had to bend my transmission line the very first time. But now, given the opportunity, let's improve upon this, which is what we've been doing. That's when we said there's absolutely no reason why we need to be that close. That's where we said, hey, you know what? This actually needs to come down this way, and it became a whole new downpipe. Basically, all the other fixtures were trash. All the other components was trash. I just think it was just rushed for pressure of trying to complete it, you know. And the fabricators that worked on it before, they didn't give like I pointed out to them, hey, stop. These O2 sensors are all wrong. This H pipe is wrong. And then I told the guys that were producing it, like, you guys need to stop, dude. I mean, I was not happy. I was able to cut my O2 sensor, tilt it, and make it work. Right. I literally had to slice with the grinder so I could angle my O2 sensor sideways.
Gotcha.
Put a screwdriver in there and it just fucking banged it in. I told these guys, listen, you guys literally. I told you about the O2 sensor. I offered my downpipe to you to fix it, you know. And they're like, well, that's how he sent it. Well, we do what he says. I know, but if you know that something's wrong, care about what you're doing.
We're kind of just talking about the old history, and at the beginning of the downpipe era, a couple of things got a little funky there, and things were just pushed out. Sometimes you just want to get a product out there in time and then fix it as it goes along. And Matt, maybe you were involved in there too, in that perspective that as a business.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about that, and let's just be honest here.
Yeah. Yes, there's always, you know, as a businessman and as a member of the community and wanting to provide things for the community, it is really hard to remain patient and to not just go, all right, let's go. Is it good? It's okay, it's good. What we had, I think, happen was within a mixture of trying to be patient, trying to get it out in a reasonable time, get things to the community. We already had downpipes out. And they were just basically straight downpipes. And so with the new design, you know, little things that you don't realize that make huge differences is if something's just clocked a little bit here, it's going to be off way more there. And I think what had happened was there was a little bit of sloppiness with the jigs. And so they were just off a little bit, and that created a huge problem. And then with the inconsistency of it, like half the batch was good, the other half was, or, you know, maybe 10 out of 30 were a little off, and then 5 were just a disaster. There became some inconsistencies. And one of the things that I love working with Horacio on is his attention to detail. And it doesn't start with the finished product. It starts with everything on the front end, which is the jigs. And his jigs, he's redesigned them, redone them. I think we started from scratch. Horacio, you can correct me if I'm wrong. To make sure that no matter what, every time that someone is welding and putting these parts in to get welded, it's the consistency is there. So I don't have any worry anymore based off of how he redesigned the jigs, that everything's going to be in the right place and fit the right way. And yeah, I mean, you know, we fixed a lot. We we got a minimal credit on some stuff that happened, but you know, but that didn't cause us to throw the towel in, and we still haven't. We're still looking at different ways to make these things pump out as much as they can. And we can get into that a little bit later. But yeah, for the most part, you know, when it came down to looking at different things with it, you know, we had to start with the O2s. That was the biggest, that was the squeaky wheel, had to deal with that. Come back now to like, hey, is there actually room to move that H pipe around? And that was something that Horacio was able to take a look at, and the way his brain works, he looks at it from a way different angle than half the time that I do. He brings up stuff and I'm like, man, I didn't even think to go look at it from that side, but he's able to look at things and go, all right, we've got a 1/4 of an inch, and that 1/4 of an inch can then rotate this H pipe, and we got ton of clearance. And it's probably a little wrong. Sorry if I'm explaining it wrong, but it that, like, his detail into tiny little areas creates more room. Like I said, when you move something that much, the tail end of it creates that much more space. So we could have been done. We could have been like, all right, we're done. We'll keep going with this. Like, hopefully the jigs stay together as long as they can, and we'll make this happen. But we went in, spent more money, spent more time. Time's the biggest thing that we probably lose, making sure everything is getting to the point.
Right.
And again, we're still messing with them, and there's some more revisions coming, and it's super exciting, and it's fun, and it's what we do. And we're not going to stop just because, like, hey, it seems like it works. Right. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. And
we changed it around all the way from the top of the flanges all the way to the extensions, the extenders. Right. Remember the ATS-V extenders? Yeah. It went in at an angle, and it was running like that for a long time. That's the original design. That's the way it was. Nobody changed it. But you know what? Turns out that if we gave it, 5 to 7 degrees, I think it was 7 degrees towards one side, it fits in beautifully. And so
totally forgot about that.
It was we didn't have to do it. We didn't have to do it.
And it takes a bit.
We're here to make it better. And so that's why we did it. And so, yes, it's more work, right? It's technically more work, because you got to cut this pipe at an angle. You got to reduce it, feel like reducing at a certain angle, right? Then you got to build a whole new fixture just for that tail end, whereas before it was just slide it in, as long as you ballpark it 12, that's it. No, now it has to be exactly on a fixture, its own fixture. And if anybody knows about production costs, that costs money to build.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I want to point out, guys, that one of the things that we're really conveying here is that RP, and I know I say this a lot, but I'm going to state it again. The thing about RP is that's what refinement is. It's a consistent refining of the process, which is why the name was changed. You can see the spirit of Horacio, you see the spirit of Matt. They always wanted to do better. And the thing that I tell people is you can't find that with any other company within this community. Reason being, in-house, handmade, genuinely handmade. It's not made in a factory in China and then shipped over here and welded with a cheap piece of little placard. This is handmade in America. Anybody here, go visit Horacio. Go to our shop. I challenge you and I encourage you. Go see my man. And you can see the beautiful TIG work, the beautiful fabrication, everything that is done in-house, made in California. Go see my man. One of the beautiful things about being an in-house company is that whenever we want to, with the hands of Horacio, the primary charge behind this, say, you know what, we can do better again, which transitions us to a straight performance downpipe.
What did he say?
What are you saying, Jaeden? Straight performance, more performance. Obviously, guys, we know there is an increase in the downpipe already. I specifically, I've talked about this before. The moment I put on my RP downpipes to V-Sport 1 with my upgraded turbos, that day after install, pounds of boost were automatically released out of my turbos. I remember calling Justin Schmidt on my ride home going, bro, I'm telling you right now, the car just got so much faster. And he's like, really? I'm like, I promise you, bro, my upgraded 50 millimeter turbo, I'm telling you right now, there's an increase. And as soon as I got home, I logged like a 10-minute, ride with the car. I sent it over to Justin and I said, look at that boost, bro. 4.5 pounds. We're almost at 5-pound increase since my last log. No revisions. Next thing you know, Justin's like, you unlocked almost 5 pounds. I said, that's a lot of boost, man. It's a lot of extra horsepower. That's what the downpipes did for my TPC upgraded turbos. So when we think about that, now I'm going to go into Horacio's mind. Horacio hears this story and I say, hey, Horacio, I did this with your downpipes with the H-bar in there. Can we make this even better? And then that's when his mind goes to this. Take us to where we're at now and what might be a beautiful present for this community.
Yeah, so what it is, you got to look at what's happening in the exhaust system, right? The H pipe, what it's doing is it's creating turbulence to reduce the exhaust flow hitting the muffler, right? So the muffler is hollow. It's literally a hollow chamber. So what's happening here is this downpipe works great for people like me who want to keep the factory exhaust on, right? But then there's the other side, right? There's people that are actually like you who love and don't have any restrictions with. We live in California, so we have to watch out for sound.
Yep, that's me. 4th time being pulled over for exhaust.
And now maybe you'll learn education through enforcement. That's why I have a bunch of flashy lights on my car.
Florida!
Yeah, I know, right?
We're at 106.2 decibels.
Okay.
The legal limit is 95. Your catback mod boosted that up, okay?
Oh, okay.
Dismissed.
I'm not dismissed.
Bye-bye.
You're not my
You're dismissed. I am. Damn, Gina.
The real America, baby.
Yeah.
That's why I moved to Texas.
Set myself up for that one. And so I don't want to have to deal with the police. And
Hey, no Cali hate. Obviously, Matt born and raised his life out there.
Yeah.
And I lived out there in LA and San Diego, even lived in Orange County for a little bit. So a lot of love for California still.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. So looking at that, you realize that the H pipe is literally causing turbulence to reduce the amount of flow. Now, on some testing that we've done with some modifications, we have actually seen sooner boost levels. My car is picking up boost sooner.
Oh, this goes into the intake talk then. Oh, plenty of evidence that shows the RP intake increases torque right off the line. And typically stock intake 2,000 on intake, 2,300 intake, 2,200 RP intake. 1,600 to 1,800. We see, sooner increase in when that boost starts to kick in. And sure enough, bro, I get so many guys on Instagram that are like, "You were right, bro." And all of a sudden they're fully
it's a gradual increase now. So your power line used to be here. Now all of a sudden it's sooner.
Earlier boost. It's just a beautiful thing. So now right here, you're telling me you throw on your prototypes and next you're seeing a sooner increase in the initial boost. Talk about that. Let's go, bro.
Man, you got my nipples hard.
No, I got to cut you. That's the rule.
Was amazing. The sound alone was amazing. I love the sound. Anybody that has downpipes, you want a little bit more. You want just that tad bit. Man, when I'm at the light, or I'm coming downshifting, I kick it down and it does that little run. That with these downpipes, eliminating the H-pipe, I had it. I was there, man. I was ripping. I was even at idle. I'm just kicking to neutral. The engines just sound so much deeper. It's got such a deeper tone, right? To where it funnels the sound into at an angle to get in. Therefore, it's going to create a crosshatch pattern where it's going to bounce around into the perforated core. And so I'm doing this for the community, but I also want to set for myself.
Absolutely.
It's a win-win.
So let's talk about right there. You're talking about that initial turbo exhaust flow coming into the downpipes. That's where the H-pipe, right? And correct me if I'm wrong. So that turbo, the exhaust air is flying out of it. It's coming down the initial entrance of that downpipe. And then speaking of the current downpipes, now that H-bar, the H-pipe that's there, it's literally as that air is going down, some of it's splitting off into that H-bar, and then it's probably, it's coming down, and then a little bit splits into the H-pipe, and then it kind of splices it in half a little bit. That air comes in, the air ends up hitting itself and goes right back out. Once it hits out to the exhaust again, the air has to fight for a split second.
A lot of turbulence based on the data we found out. This design works great to keep these downpipes drivable, but it's not optimal, right? As far as people are making power, don't get me wrong. You got Justin making all these cars that are super fast. These cars are fast with these downpipes. Now I want you to picture the next level. The reason why we're sacrificing power, we're all sacrificing horsepower, is to not get that raspiness.
And so for people that are listening now, what we're really describing here is Horacio has created a beautiful prototype, performance-focused downpipe. Again, I'm saying prototype. I'll let you guys know. He sent it to me. I have it. He's tested it on his ATS-V. I will be testing it now on V-Sport 1 with all the upgrades that have been done. Obviously, if you guys have been following what I have going on V-Sport 1, it's toe up from the flow up and rebuilt to be a monster. Oh, it's got both on there. But these prototypes will be tested on V-Sport 1 with the new build. Mike Gertis, everybody knows him, Horsepower RX, my good buddy. He picked them up yesterday, the day before from me, and I'm excited to test those. But that's what we're getting into here. We're just talking about this prototype. We talked about how the H-pipe was originally designed into the LF4 downpipe to stop the terrible rasp. I just want the performance, so I don't care. I just want to test the performance of these things with my turbos. But if you just listen to him, I mean, he just said he tested on his car. He got a deeper resonance, a deeper tone out of these downpipes. So give us a little bit more time. We're just giving you a peek into what is going on right here on the downpipe forefront. More things are coming. So Horacio, give me your closing words or a little bit more, whatever you want on this new prototype.
Because we love this community, right? The car, this platform, right? I'll be honest with you, it's never gonna be done. It's never gonna be finished. We're never gonna be done. We're always gonna be improved. Now we got a lot of other stuff we're still working on, and that's still in the dark room, right? And when that other stuff comes out, I'm really excited. So we're never done. It's like even after we make this, we're gonna keep looking. How can we push the envelope a little bit more? Because that's why you bought this car, right? If you didn't want to be pushing the envelope, go buy a Camry or a Honda Civic, right? And then just daily drive it.
Yep.
You know, I daily drive mine, but just buy a regular beater, you know, and don't push the envelope. But we're all about pushing the envelope. That's why we have this car, because we love it. We love the performance, and what can we do better? What can we improve? If, like I said, we've had a lot of duds, right? We've been working on this for quite some time and have gotten information off of every single one. And that's created the development. Yeah. So that's it. Hey, that didn't work, but when we did this, when we moved that over there, when we moved this, you look at the data, we actually saw an improvement here. So let's go back to look at it again. We got to look at it from outside the box. Now that works. So let's extend this. Let's extend that. And so that really created some power. The only thing is we got to make sure that we get the channeling. The way it is right now, as soon as it comes in, it goes right out. Only under extreme back pressures will it absorb some. Now, when you go wide open throttle, it's just going to push straight through. So we won't lose it. And the problem isn't wide open throttle. The problem is low RPMs. From 1800 to 2500. You know, I sent Justin the video, and he messed around with timing a little bit. We were able to advance timing to where it would actually give us more power. And it helped a little bit. It helped the sound a little bit. So that's another thing that most of these people are going to have to retune to optimize performance, right? Absolutely. You can bolt them on and you'll still get out more power. You'll feel it stronger. But guess what? Now Justin can go in and make it faster. And that's what we want. So that was pretty cool. That was one thing that we learned, that, hey, this actually allowed us to play around with the timing more. So it gave us a quicker response, you know? So that was pretty neat. But even before Justin did that, was bolt on. The car was stronger, faster, right off the line. It had more pushback, right? You know, everybody knows their car.
Yeah.
You should know what to expect. For sure. But this guy, as soon as I got in it, you know, at the light, just give it gas. It was like immediate, and so I was really excited. We just gotta keep going, keep learning from it.
Hey, the beautiful part here is through the testing with this prototype, we found one thing out. We found that eliminating that H pipe does create a better performing downpipe.
As long as we, you know, because we're fanatics of the car, as long as we keep pushing, we'll never lose. On yours, you'll see that I made it a little bit. I made a new tooling to where being like this, it's now like this. So it gives us a little bit more area, and it gives us that chamber. We're going to try to add that to this side. So when it comes in, when the exhaust air comes in, in the low RPMs, it'll bounce around. So there's 3 types we're going to try to do. We're going to try to do the same outlet that you have, right, with the new inlet. You see how it's got that little chamber inside? That anti-reversion, I do feel that helped a lot, you know? And so that gave us that little deepness tone, because all of a sudden, it's not air just coming straight back. It's going into a small chamber, boom, 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 and then creating that. And so we were able to replicate the sound of the H pipe. So at idle, it sounds the same as the H pipe, just a little bit deeper. And so again, you're never going to stop improving. We're going to try one design, and then we'll go back to it.
And just to back up, because I know he's going to watch this, but I told Eric Miller we had a discussion about the reversion of the airflow from the H pipe. And he automatically, as soon as we got done having this discussion, he goes, "I'm going to chop my H bar off right now."
We're losing power. I think he'll be faster if we get him a set, you know. If we get him a set, you know, as a testing purpose, I think it'll be beneficial, right? It's like, hey, you know, of course, it's one of the fastest. Imagine he was even faster with the new downpipe design. When's Cadillac Attack? When is it?
End of January here in Florida. Yeah.
Okay, so let's just say we have a few months to get him the new design. Yeah. And he runs out there, new design. We'll mess around with
he whoops again.
Yeah, I know. Right? And so, but that's what it is. It's just because we love it. We're doing it for the love of the cars, not for the money.
Absolutely. That's the beauty of this community, for the people that are really about it.
And please plug in my Cash App here. Any donations you can do.
I'd like to segue with this. Now, when again we're talking about getting the sound right on the prototype, and you talked about the funneling it. My question, real quick, as my segue, the funneling. Would you say it's Venturi-esque in the funnel?
Yeah.
It's creating a Venturi effect.
When it has to squeeze into an opening. it's going to create speed.
Yeah.
And
So with that, that's how I want to segue into the intake. Which the ATS-V and the V-Sport RP intake, the main thing about them both now, the main difference between the RP ATS-V intake, which was the first intake, and then the V-Sport intake, which is the second intake, is equidistance. It was much easier to make an equidistance intake in the ATS-V, but not in the V-Sport because a couple of things are kind of moved around real estate wise. So the V-Sport not being completely equidistant, the passenger crossover pipe actually has a longer reduction to the 2.5. And that is, according to just the basic principle of Venturi, that's going to speed up the passenger side a little bit more. The driver's side, that distance traveled is so much less. The passenger side definitely has a longer Venturi. So that's where it's making up for the difference that it's not equidistant, but air should be shooting over there. Now, my point here is I sent this to Matt yesterday to kind of read over reasons as to why the RP intake system kicks boost ass. The RP system was the first LF3-4 intake system to utilize a larger 3-inch diameter entrance pipe. Others have come out now and have copied that 3-inch design, but they fail to understand why that 3-inch design is utilized, and that's what I'm going to explain right here. So the 3-inch diameter is for more initial air volume collection after the filters. That 3-inch piping then jets and restricts down to a 2.5 reduction point. This reduction incorporates a tapering Venturi system before reaching the turbo inlets. No other LF3-4 intake has this utilized in total design. This is what's important here. The reduction incorporates this tapering Venturi system. The Venturi effect, simply put, is when you are outside with your garden hose and you squeeze the end of it, and now it shoots out a much harder, faster stream. That's a simple understanding of what the Venturi is. And that's what's happening with the RP intake, and it's not happening with any other intake. So with the RP system, the larger volume of turbulent air that's being pulled into that initial 3-inch section ultimately gets sucked through a cone-like funnel to complete this 2.5 reduction, which then creates low pressure at the Venturi and high velocity. That's the basic principle right there, is low pressure, it squeezes down, creates now velocity, speed. It's what Horacio's now unlocked in the downpipes, thus creating a high-speed control stream of forced air now flowing and filling up the turbo inlet more effectively and efficiently, as well by effect principle. Now here's the kicker. When it comes to the design of the Venturi, not only is the Venturi speeding up from the crushing of low pressure, high velocity into the turbo inlet, ultimately being sucked into the spooling of the turbo, it's creating slightly cooler air. And I've talked to Matt about this, and anybody watching this right now, how do you know? Everyone says it's a cold air intake system, but there's no such thing, sucking in all the engine heat. I get it.
Yeah, there is no cold air, but there is cooler air.
Right, that air getting pulled in from the initial, right through the grill. Obviously, the V-Sport and the ATS-V have that opening duct going into the initial box for the intake. That air is whatever ambient temperature it's going to come in. Now, you have some engine bay heat, but this is where the kicker is. As that air with the RP intake is flowing into the first 3-inch diameter section, when it gets tapered down into the Venturi, that Venturi creating the low pressure, high velocity, is also creating a cooler effect. I want everybody watching this right now to take your lips and to pretend you're picking up a hot food right now. What do you do to cool that food down? You go, like a little girl, you cool it down. What is happening there? It's the exact same thing happening with our RP intake. No other intake is doing this because no other intake is utilizing a Venturi principle.
AC with the door. Close your door just a little bit and you will feel the rush of air, right? Right before you close it all the way.
Absolutely.
You feel the air just rushing in.
The RP intake. A Venturi principled intake It speeds the airflow right before it hits the turbo inlet. Speeds airflow and it slightly cools it. And these are basic, fundamental, empirical principles. And this is how I lead into the fact that I mentioned it earlier. Everybody that has switched to an RP intake has seen an increase in initial boost timing. I want you to take your RP intake, you go out and you data log it. Take a Sunday. Take a Sunday you have off. If you got a kid, do it with your son, do it with your daughter, have some fun. I want you to go out and data log your RP intake. And once you get done, do a couple of wide open throttles. And then I want you to look at that data log. Now I want you to go back, and this is where, a Sunday, take your RP intake off. I dare you to put your old stock intake on, or your whatever intake you have, whatever it is, put it back on there. And now I want you to data log the exact same thing. It's observable data. There is a fundamental design principle in the RP intake. Why is this needed, or why would you want this? Initial spooling of boost. Why wouldn't you want it sooner? That means torque. It means torque right off the bat. I don't care how many times I've heard in this community there's no added horsepower when you put an intake on. That may be true, but that's not the facts of what's really going on there. Torque and horsepower are related, but torque is the driving force of horsepower ultimately. So if
you can't just look at the final numbers. You got to look at, when am I getting that? If you're at the line and you're getting boost 500 RPM sooner, you may have the same horsepower, but that got you ahead. That got you the edge. That got you the quicker elapsed time. So that is what we're talking about. How soon can I get to my horsepower? That means you're faster. And if you're going to look at the numbers, you're looking at this wrong. You got to look at the whole function from bottom to top. How did I get there? How soon did I get into my power curve? That's what's important here. That everybody wants to talk about, oh, it's only 10 horsepower on top. Okay, but you're sooner. So you're faster, you're quicker. And that's what we are overlooking.
I'm telling you, you sat at a line. Imagine being at the line and you're brake boosting at the track, but a higher initial loading option. And so that's what we're talking about here, is the fact, and this is the front side of the engine, right? We're talking about the intake flow, and prior to this, earlier in the conversation, we talked about the exhaust flow. And this is all the main incorporation of what makes this engine a beast. It's the airflow in, it's the airflow out. What happens in the middle, that's all on Justin Schmidt. You do all the stuff on the middle of that. So that's what we're talking about here. A quicker launch. You want to load that boost up sooner. Now the RPMs get to stretch out throughout that boost.
You hit the nail on the head.
Why wouldn't you want it sooner and have your power go longer? And I mean, that's the main thing of what we thought about. We didn't stop just at the intake. We didn't just start at the downpipes. It's all interconnected. It's airflow in the beginning, speeding it up, getting it cooler into the engine, and then having it, less restricted coming out on the back end. It all works together. You get in with Justin, like you said, he works in the middle to make it all do its thing. And that's basically kind of, I mean, like I said, you guys have said it so well. I don't know what I can add to it, except that I agree. We've all, all three of us have had, I don't know, hours and hours and hours of conversation just about that, but that's basically what it does. The hard thing is with an intake, like you both said, there's really no way sometimes to measure it with horsepower. That's something that we all kind of always look to as the measuring stick. How much horsepower are you getting? But the reality is, it's when you're getting that horsepower, that's the data that you need to look at. You're going to feel it too. At the end of the day, Horacio always references the butt dyno. What do you feel? What are you feeling when you're stepping on the pedal? Those types of things right there is where it all kind of sits. It coming in quicker, that's a big deal. And
if you're behind, you're going to catch up sooner.
Absolutely.
Right. If you're behind, you're going to catch up sooner.
Absolutely.
If you're ahead, you're going to stay ahead.
Right. If you blink and the guy takes
exactly. That's all it takes.
You still have a fight.
So that's really amazing. Those of us that really, I'm sure most people that are watching this, they're driving their cars, they go to the track, they They get on it and they're like, oh my God, go, 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 go. Well, you would have gone had you gotten that intake.
You know what
know?
you're lacking there? You're lacking an RP intake, son.
Yeah.
And let's think about the GM design here. I mean, they said, how can we eliminate turbo lag? I mean, these turbos are butted to the damn block, and then they're routed with, and this is where we're going to get into real quick the charge pipe talk. They're routed with a quick charge pipe sequence that goes right into a top mounted throttle body. The distance that the air has to travel all around this car has been shortened. And now what RP has done is consistently make that shorter travel distance quicker in how the air is flowing through it. So Horacio, take me through your thoughts real quick, and we're going to start to wrap up finally. Take me to your thoughts. You brought it up earlier, the charge pipes again.
Well, I mean, geez, the charge pipes is going to be the next challenge there. Once we perfect the charge pipes, and depends what size outlet. Instead of 1 3/4, 7/8, hey, let's go 2-inch. So we could go 2 1/4, 2.5.
Plus, we have the new solar performance throttle body, right? So we even have a throttle body that Justin has tested many times on different cars. I have the solar throttle body on VS1 now, and
that's the thing. I asked Justin a long time ago, hey, should I when I first got my car? Again, everything was new, right? It was still a lot of changes have occurred. This is how fast this community is evolving, right? This is how fast this platform is developing. Well, thanks to the work of Justin being able to tune it, right? Parts that used to be, oh, don't buy the throttle body. Now all of a sudden I see people throwing them on.
Yeah.
So now I'm looking, I'm sitting over here like SLB, I had that thing open, I could have thrown it on. I gotta take it apart, throw it back on again. I'll wait.
So the original charge pipes that RP was selling in the last 2 months, I've had a lot of questions on the charge pipes. Say, hey, they're kind of outdated. We've never really seen a performance increase in them from what they were.
I do see randomly, right, on the forums, people sometimes will say the charge pipe. Does anybody have a set? I think I saw one post last week or something like that.
Yeah, they've been recently popping up. There's guys asking. Yep, but I do let people know when they were first out and first being purchased by people, we didn't have the tuning level we're at now. Obviously, we keep repeating this. But the charge pipes moving forward, the great thing about them, I know a lot of guys use them because the bungs for meth, right? It's already on there. So that
was before the tuning capability. So I think they're using meth to make up for the tuning possibility. So right now, those charge pipes, would I put them on my car? I wouldn't put them on my car because it's no different than the factory size. But what will work is a larger diameter. If you tell me, hey, charge pipes coming out from 1 7/8 to 2 1/4 inches, that's a lot more airflow that we're allowing to come out, which is what we're working on. We don't want to give away too much. We're making the downpipes bigger, wider, better, right? But we're doing nothing on the top end. You're still running through those factory charge pipes. This is what you need. Again, going back to the Venturi effect, right? It has to squeeze and then it has to vent out. It has to pick up speed, So when we do that, that's going to be really good. But we got to catch up with these downpipes, and then that's the next on the chopping block. I already got all the mat flanges, all the flanges ready. So if we were to release them, hopefully soon, that would be really awesome. It's gonna be really nice. But yes, we are gonna have that done pretty soon here, Jaeden.
Yeah. And the beauty of those is they'll be ATS-V CTS V-Sport.
Blackwing.
Yeah. So that'll be a fun little addition to all that fun.
I mean, it seems like everything's right in line where it needs to be, man. Like the airflow situation is just getting improved step by step here.
These will be really key because keep in mind, we're not pushing the same 18, 19 pounds we were before, or 25, when we mess around with these shits. Now we got people pushing 33, 35 PSI. That's almost double.
Yeah.
It's almost double with the same inlet ports.
Right. That's the big thing here. It wasn't until the last 2 or 3 years that we've gotten to this point that we can actually do this stuff. And so, it's a revisitation, a re-education, because a lot of the old information, it seemed pertinent back then, but it really isn't. It's misconstrued. There's some propaganda thrown in there from other companies. And the truth here is we're trying to show the legitimate double down, bottom end, ass end. This is the facts. This is the facts that now that we have Justin Schmidt, we have the master tuner, and we couldn't do, nobody, whether it was whoever it was, they couldn't do it because the Lion wasn't released yet. And when Mr. Fast Cat came in here, it just created such an amplifying of what we can do. And this is where we get to really test it. All right, guys, I want to thank you for taking the time to sit down and listen to the three of us, everyone out there. We talked about downpipes, the history of the downpipes with RP, and the beauty of that everything is in-house here. We're not outsourcing this work. It's not going to China. It's not going to Taiwan. It's not going to, it's California. And a lot of you guys know the LLC has moved over to Texas, but the main fabricator, our main man, Horacio, is still based in California handling this work. Downpipes, improvements, constant refinement is our key to success. And it's the key to just being integral members of the community. I mean, everything in life is about improvement. And we are doing that here. We're making sure it's getting done. So downpipes, we talked a little bit about a prototype downpipe coming out. We talked about the RP intake. We talked about the Venturi design. No other intake on the market utilizes an actual functional design, step by step. There's a reason for it. There's a method behind the RP madness, and it has been successful, and there is observable data you can see. Again, I push all of you guys to do your own testing. Go data log, and when the prototype downpipes are ready, you can do the same thing there. Data log the difference. And what is science? Science is simply observation. That's the definition of science. And if you can continually observe something that you can repeat, and you can repeat the observation and it gives you the same results, you got a baseline now. We have a clear baseline in data logs of the RP intake and the stock intake. That is consistently observable data, not just something that the three of us can do. You can do it yourself. So don't just take our word for it. You can feel it in them butt cheeks as you hit that pedal. And you can see it in the data log if you just take the time to do it. You guys, thank you so much for taking this time out. So, Horacio, please give us your final words on where do you see the community going, the overall temperature of the community, and take us out.
Thank you. Yeah, I do feel this community is gonna head into the balls to the wall guys. You know, I think the ones that are staying in this are the ones that know the potential for these cars. No longer these guys are buying it just for luxury. I think it's us as well, I'd like to include myself, the envelope pushers. We're always pushing the envelope. It is basically, it will be a classic, right? It will be a classic. So it, also for development, I have the coupe and I have the sedan.
Ooh.
That's how much I love it. Yeah. So when we test fit something on the coupe, we test it right back on the sedan, and it fits every single time.
Beautiful.
So that's what we're about. You know, that's it. But like I said, this community where I see it going, I think the deniers, they're out of here. And the only ones that are staying are the real guys, the real performance seeker guys. So that's what we have in mind. That's what I have in mind. You know, these are the guys that we're in it for a long haul. When we go to the cruises, when you see another ATS-V, you know, they're like, hey, buddy, we're the fast ones in the group. We're the fast ones in the group. And so that's where I see this going and staying.
And we're going to keep pushing forward. Again, why we changed the name to Refined Performance was just to keep perfecting things, seeing what we can do. Like I think we've mentioned a couple of times today and in the past is that what has gone on in the last couple of years has been leaps and bounds from the first, 4 or 5 years when the platform was first launched. So yeah, we're going to keep going. That'll lead us into a lot of the Blackwing stuff. So we're going to keep doing what we do and keep working the way we work. We're going to keep going with it. So yeah, again, I appreciate both of you. Like I love working with both of you. I feel like I'm cheating life when I get to get on the phone with you guys because it feels like you're not supposed to have that much fun at work.
It's just fun, man. I love doing this. It's amazing. It's amazing. Well, guys, if you guys don't have anything else, then that's it. Thank you guys for your time.
I'm just throwing money out there like this.
Right.
For sure.